Hello, my astrology friends. Evolutionary astrologer Shannon Gill here, coming on today to talk to you a little bit about the astrology of July. Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I'm a fairly new voice on here, so if you haven't yet liked it, please like my channel. I really appreciate your support. And also on that note, for those of you who have reached out and responded to my YouTubes, I really appreciate it. I love the feedback, and thank you so much for being curious as to where I've been the last couple of weeks. We're definitely deep in the heart of summer here in Austin, Texas, and I do have two amazing little children, and we have been doing amazing family fun things. So thank you so much. I'm back. We have a big, exciting month ahead of us. Today is actually the full moon in Capricorn. So of course, looking back 6 months is the invitation to look at what have we been working with in the realm of the Capricorn archetype that began with the new moon in the same sign, which would have been January. So of course, January being the beginning of the Gregorian calendar year, most people are thinking about their goals. They're thinking about their vision and their intentions for the calendar year. And so that really does actually align with the Capricorn archetype, because Capricorn rules our foundation. It rules what we're building. It has to do with what our contribution is to society. It's a very important archetype right now because we are in the process of this reconstruction of the foundations, the root system of our world, which requires us to assess and to reconstruct the root system, the foundation, and the architecture of our own internal landscape. So as we know, Capricorn, we could kind of consider as like the scaffolding, right? It's the bones, it's the joints, it is even the teeth. It's like how we metabolize, how we build, how we structure, and how we climb, how we navigate and function and move through the physical material world. And that which is the result is the product of our focus. And so looking back for 6 months, you can reflect upon what is it that you were intending to contribute to society, or perhaps to your family. Capricorn is definitely the archetype that rules our ancestry and our family. What is it that you were intending to build for yourself, for your world, for your family, for your society? And then today, the full moon, it's sort of like this assessment time. Where are you on the journey? And so, my invitation is to be gentle with yourself. And some of us might need to actually lighten up a little bit. Maybe we haven't exactly fulfilled those goals the way that we would have intended or had hoped. And maybe we wish we were further along. Or perhaps we look back and we realize, wow, I got a little off track. I haven't been quite as disciplined, and I haven't had the perseverance, which are qualities that Capricorn requires in order to climb that mountain of whatever it is that we're intending to ascend or to achieve. Other ones of us might have been working too hard, and we've been just like breaking our back. And so we're feeling heavy and we're not feeling enough fluidity, the Cancer polarity where the sun resides right now. Maybe we need more flow and more fluidity, and maybe we need more beingness instead of this like ambition and drive. So these are the polarities that we're looking at today. Another component of the Capricorn archetype, which I find very interesting and important, is how do we reclaim our sovereignty? With Pluto now retrograding back into Capricorn, it's at that anaretic, that death degree of Capricorn, which we've been dancing with now since 2008 when it entered that sign. We're looking at the destructive ways, or the unbalanced ways, or the shadow expression of our reliance on something outside of us, some kind of authority system, some kind of another voice of leadership that is not our own. And that's part of what we're reprogramming in this new age. We're coming out of feeling powerless and reliant. And so it's interesting because of the fact that we have been so deeply ingrained in these programs and in this process for thousands of years, where we were told what to do, whether it was from the church, the government, the doctor, even the nighttime news. The authority was always outside of us. Even some of us have had trouble even, standing on our own 2 feet, and maybe still relying literally on our parental figures. So these are some of the possibly unconscious elements that we might want to explore. around, we want to be autonomous and we want our sovereignty in this new age of Aquarius, where we may be asleep to where we're actually still dependent. It's interesting when we think about, we want to change the system and the system's corrupt and, all of this darkness outside of ourselves, right? The shadow government piece. But yet we're extremely reliant and even addicted to the convenience, to the authority of being told what to do so that we can not take responsibility. And so there's this process of maturation that's required of us. This Pluto retrograding is wanting us to go back and assess what are some of the toxic roots. Where are we in some way in the back of our mind still waiting for someone to come in that's going to really take care of us, or somewhere down in later in our life we're going to get some inheritance, or there's going to be someone that's going to come and save us. So these are important elements to consider. Some other players in the game, which are also significant, are Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, is retrograde in Pisces. And then Neptune, which rules Pisces, is also retrograde as of this week. So this brings a little complexity to the equation. It is definitely a time to stay very awake because the Pisces energy can put us back to sleep. Remember, we're coming out of the Pisces age where we were in a state of amnesia. And so in the highest, the Pisces is the Godhead, it is the mystery, it's infinite creativity, it's our unity consciousness, it's peace, compassion, all the beautiful things. And with Saturn traveling through Pisces for the next 2 years, we have this extraordinary opportunity to really harness these liminal energies, to really integrate spirit into matter. That is our highest aspiration. I mean, essentially why we're here, right? However, with the planets retrograding, there is a need to be cautious. Saturn being our 3D reality in the last sign of the zodiac means that everything is ending. Everything is sort of dissolving. Things are becoming even more surreal. And so there's a tendency or a temptation to gloss over or to check out, to want to escape, to want to find that Godhead or that heavenly realm. And the harsh reality of the 3D realm becomes too much. And so it's easier to take this little side road. Well, Saturn is the Lord of Karma, so it's actually not the best route to take ever. And what I'm noticing is that instant karma is really accelerated right now. The ascension process is very biological, and I have been noticing how we really could get away with more in the last, period of years where we had a lot of consciousness and a lot of conceptual understanding and really understood a lot of things and did our best to, live our life according to those principles. But now it feels like with Saturn there, that requires alignment, discipline, devotion, integrity to the natural laws, that if we're not walking our talk, we will receive instant feedback on that. And additionally, now that Neptune that rules Pisces is also retrograde, it's like the mists of Avalon. It's like we cannot see where we're going. The energies feel very surreal, and the tendency just by nature to sort of be more floaty, be a little more spaced out is right upon us. And so if you're feeling lethargic, if you're feeling not clear, not really focused, you're feeling a little distracted, or you're feeling like, who cares? It's summer. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm off track. This is probably why. So this full moon is a time to really assess in a sober light where we really at with our functionality, with us bringing spirit into form, with our goals, to be honest with ourselves about where we may have slipped off our path, where we may be getting a little lazy about this or indulging a little bit in that realm, and that it's affecting our overall consciousness. Because like I said, this evolution of consciousness and our ascension process is so much about our biology literally lightening up. And so that's the day-to-day practices. And so when the retrogrades are happening, we're reevaluating, where am I really in integrity to my core beliefs, to the refining and the purification of my spirit, so that I can be on that channel that I want to be, so I have access to that infinite creativity and to, the magic and the mystery and the synchronicities. So the retrogrades are not something to fear or even to be annoyed by as much as they are a jolt of awakening, because sometimes we just get on that hamster wheel of life and we just go, go, go. And of course, the disease of our time is busyness, and we fall asleep at the wheel, or we accidentally take a wrong turn and we don't even realize how we got where we are. So we're here, we're reassessing, and it's going to give us this really beautiful opportunity pretty much through the end of the year. I think Saturn goes direct in November, Neptune in December, to really work with some of these more subtle and nuanced energies. So that's in the backdrop. Here we are, early July. July is a really big month, and I'm going to go into this later on in the month, but I want to just plant the seed because we are already in the shadow of Venus retrograde. So Venus, the planet of love and beauty, retrogrades only once every 18 months. So, we're really used to the Mercury retrograde, which is 3 times a year, but Venus and Mars retrograde much more infrequently. So it's a big deal. And it's a big deal because it talks about what's most important to us, which is our relationship to life, our relationship to ourself, which is a vibrational reflection of our relationship to the world, to others. So we've already discussed a little bit about retrogrades and what they invite us to explore. So when we're talking about Venus, we're talking about intimacy. We're talking about our lovers. We're talking about our relationship life. And so during the retrograde period, which is actually going to be from July 22nd through September 3rd, the microscope is on our most intimate relationships, any one-on-one relationship, which I consider the sacred mirror. So, we often, again, get on the hamster wheel of life and we just sort of move through and we sort of let things slide, or we brush things under the carpet. And during the retrogrades, it's time to clean out the closet. Whatever we've been avoiding, whatever's been under the surface that you maybe haven't spoken up about, something that's been bothering you, it's all going to come to light. And we actually have already entered the pre-retrograde shadow, which started June 19th. So we're already starting to get some hints about the material. So just look back over the last week or two and assess your relationship life, your relationship dynamics, and has anything been surfacing? Venus is also our finances, so you can also explore that realm. It's a time to really sort of go back in and look at how things are going. And so there's going to be a really beautiful opportunity to reevaluate, reconsider, and ultimately rewrite the script. So that when a planet goes direct, which will be in September, but it won't leave the post shadow until I think October, we have a revised plan. We have a renewal, hopefully. Now, it's true, it's not uncommon that some relationships would break up during a retrograde. And it's also said that people from the past, old lovers, might come in, or maybe you meet somebody and they have a frequency that's very familiar. Maybe it's from a past life. There's something from the past coming back through, and it's the same with the psychological material, something that's been happening in the past that's maybe been avoided or neglected is going to come through. Because ultimately, what are we here to do? We're here to serve each other's evolution. And that sacred mirror is the accelerating force. It's something I'm very passionate about. And I do a lot of work with my clients around sacred relationship, as I'm in a twin flame relationship, which is actually very rare to be in union. Most twins shake hands and run when they find out. Because the fact is that a twin flame relationship is actually a micro of the macro. So it's sort of like the integration process of the alchemy of division, which is occurring on the planet. So the friction of coming together is just quite intense and sometimes explosive. So we're going to have a lot of juicy energy to work with. And Venus is in Leo during this retrograde cycle. Leo rules the heart. So expect to get really in touch with that passion and that romance, and what do you really want? And are you really seen in your relationship? But we have to remember that the core relationship is our relationship to ourselves. So if we don't like what we're seeing in the mirror, turn the mirror inside. You know, are we giving ourselves that? Do we feel that way about ourselves? And maybe that's where the work lies. So there's a lot of complexity, obviously, in the relationship domain, and this is just going to be a really powerful time to unpack and explore. There's another element which I'm excited about that I'll go into more in detail in another episode around what is our contribution, our creative contribution to life. Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, part of the creation force in the sense of the light. You know, Leo is the light ruled by the sun. What is our creative offering to the world? Are we giving our gifts? And so it would be a really beautiful time to consider, you know, are we tapping into that joy principle? Are we doing something that is an expression of the divine within? So I think it's going to be a really powerful retrograde cycle. And I really hope that all of you will continue to follow my channel. So if you haven't already liked it, please press like, leave me comments, questions. I love this dialogue that we have going on, and I really appreciate all of you for being awake, being aware, being in devotion to the shift. And I wish you all so many blessings. Happy full moon, and I'll see you next time.